Hi, I'm Marty Monses with Rockhurst University Continuing Education Center. We're here at a program with Dan Cassin. Dan, welcome.
Thank you, Marty. Good to be here. Glad to have you here with us today.
Well, I know we're on a short time frame today because we're at lunch, so let's
Right.
get right to it.
Sure.
Dan, tell the viewers a little bit about your background and what areas of training and expertise that you bring to Rockhurst.
Sure. My undergrad was in architecture, where I designed and built things. My grad was in operations and human development. And so that's a lot of how I got into this speaking and training aspect of it. I focused for Rockhurst on a number of different programs, leadership, creative marketing, internet marketing. I've done some risk management, internal controls. Today we're doing administrative professionals, where we're looking at tools that administrative professionals can use to be more productive.
So, for example,
we're looking at Outlook.
Okay.
And Excel today, how to be more efficient with their email tools, how to be more efficient with their appointments and keeping track of their meetings and that sort of thing.
so applications that everyone uses.
Applications
virtually.
pretty much everybody uses today, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Dan, when you approach a new client for Rockhurst and the relationship is just getting started, how do you go about learning what that client really needs in the way of the training and the education that you and that Rockhurst brings and get that relationship started so that it'll blossom into hopefully a long-term relationship?
Right. Absolutely, and that's what we all want. We want a long-term relationship with our clients. So first off, I'm pretty much the face of Rockhurst in that situation. I want to find out more about the individual, what they're trying to get out of the situation. I want to find out whether it's better for them if I text them or if I email them or if I call them. And I want to find a personal connection with them so that we can have a more personable relationship. They can feel comfortable talking to me. I don't want to just be a trainer. I want to be a confidant to them, a confidant, so that if they have a question, they have a problem, they have no problems with coming to me and talking to me about it. Or if they want something in particular out of it. I just did a program, the lady kept coming up to me saying, I don't know whether we can get this accomplished, I don't know whether this is working. At the end of it, when we did all of those things, she said, I couldn't believe we did all of that. And that's the type of relationship that they don't have any problems coming up to me and saying, how can we do this differently? How can we do this better? But the other thing is I want to find out their mission, vision, values, and goals for the organization, but for this program as well. What do they want to get out of this program? What do they want to see as the end result about it? I can't tell them what that outcome is going to be. They have to tell me, and then I have to adjust my programming, my training to what they want to see happen. And I may have to add some things, maybe even subtract some things to get that to happen. But I want to find out what they want to get out of it, what they want to see as the outcome, and then try to work towards that outcome.
So it's not just about sharing information and conveying data to them. It's truly about building a collaborative partnership to the benefit of that organization.
Right. I want to build a relationship with them so that I know where they're going. If I know where they're going, then I can talk to my contact at Rockhurst and say, hey, look, it's not just this program, but we ought to talk to them about this program too. And I will have already talked to them about it and say, you know, if you're having a difficulty with this, then maybe we ought to look at coming back with another program in this area here. Well, I never thought of that. I know, that's why I'm there, is to help them to think about those issues. What are their problems and what are their challenges? And how can Rockhurst help them to accomplish that?
So it's like Stephen Covey says, when you begin with the end in mind,
yes.
You're way down the road to achieving your goal.
You begin with the big rocks, and now you start putting in the little rocks, and you start filling in. And that's my goal, that's my job, is to try to fill in those blanks that we don't know yet.
Excellent, excellent. Can you describe some of the techniques that you use when you are actually going into a training session or a series of training sessions?
Sure.
Well, to make sure that your client actually can apply what you're teaching that day, because the bigwigs who are paying for the training, who are overseeing the initiative, they want a payback. They want an ROI.
Yes,
so how do you go about doing that?
Well, my first step is to ask questions. I want to know, what are their expectations? And now I've already asked the client, what are their expectations? What are their outcomes? I want to get the participants on track with that. So I'm going to ask them what their opinions are, what their expectations are, what they want to get out of this program, and then try to marry those two things together so that I can help direct them towards the outcome that the client wants. Everybody comes into a program with different agendas, different calendars, with their personal situations, with their interrelationships. So I've got to be aware of some of that, and I've got to be able to direct all of that energy and that effort towards the outcomes.
Well, every client is unique and they have unique needs. So.
Absolutely. Now, once I'm able to diagnose that, I start asking questions, and sometimes those questions might be directed to the outcome. Sometimes those questions might be directed to where are they coming from and how can I help them get there. But questions are the biggest thing, because if I don't ask them questions, I don't know where they are, I don't know where I can take them.
Sure, sure. Does that process normally take a long time with clients, or can you move to that definition of the goal pretty quickly?
If I can, at the beginning of a program, get a good idea of where the crowd is, where the participants are, then I can help through my questions and through the direction that I take the initial steps. I can help them to see where we're going to go. Now, if I can get everybody to buy into that, usually that's not very hard. I mean, sometimes I will out and I'd say, well, here's what we want to do. Here's what your boss wants to see happen. And if we can accomplish some of your other goals and objectives as well, I mean, all the better.
Right.
But they're going to be better able to own it. They're going to be able to take it in because I put it into their context. I've said, look, here's where you are. I'm trying to get to where you are and then help you get to where you need to be.
Once again, you're tailoring it to what they need.
Tailoring it to what they need, tailoring it to what the client needs, and then when I begin to marry those things together, I can bring people along in that process.
Great. Well, hypothetically, if you were to go back to an example client, let's say, a year after you delivered a training session, and you could idealize the outcomes so that they got maximum value out of your training that day, what would that organization look like a year and a day later from your training?
Well, you're going to see better outcomes in several ways. First off, people will come back from the program and say, boy, I really like that because, and they'll have some specific things that they brought out of it. All right. Now, that's going to improve, hopefully, their productivity. My personal mission statement is, by the way, that I want to transform performance to create profits. Every business owner, every business leader is looking to create profits.
Got to have them.
Got to have it. That's the major outcome, but you want some other outcomes along the way. So if I can help them transform the performance to do that, they're going to see that. People are going to say, I learned this in the program. And I have people come up to me, and they'll say, you know, the last time you were here, you talked about that. I can't tell you how much that helped. And to me, I mean, that's encouraging, it's energizing, it's like we did what we wanted to do. It may not have been initially the thing that the client wanted, but it accomplished what the client wanted because the employee, the participant, got what they wanted out of it and became more productive as a result of it, so the client gets what they want out of it.
Well, they recognize the value and then they realize the value.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what we want to do, is try to get them to the point where they can take what we put in here and take and put that back into the office and become more productive.
Well, Dan, this is more of an internal question, but what is it about Rockhurst and the clients that we serve that really energizes you and inspires you to go out there on the road day after day and deliver your training?
I think there's two primary things. It's the quality of the programming is the first thing. If you don't have quality of programming, people are not going to come back. People come back to Rockhurst all the time because of the quality of our programming. And it's not just the programming that we put together from the organization, but it's what the trainer brings to it too, because I have to bring something into it. And it's not just my personality, it's my intellect, it's my experience, it's my background, and then how I relate to the organization. So if I can put a quality program together with information and with interaction, that creates quality for the organization and people come back again. Second thing, I think, is the quality of the clients that we have. We have excellent clients, and most of these clients come to us because they want one thing. They want an outcome that our training provides. Well, if we provide the good quality training, they're going to get the outcomes, and they consistently get those outcomes, which improves the client. If we improve the client, that time they come back again and again. So I think it's the quality of the programming, the quality of the clients.
Well, and you said it before that businesses, every business at some level has to be engaged in getting customers and achieving profits. Otherwise, they won't stick around. And
that's right.
The training is a way for them to bolster that effort and make sure that they can survive into the future and not just today or tomorrow.
Exactly. The client is responsible for satisfying its constituents. Now, the constituents may be investors. They could be private or public investors. It's going to be their vendors. It's going to be their clients. It's going to be their employees, so you have to satisfy all of those with an entire system and a program to do that. And if we can be a part of that to improve the level of training, to improve the level of productivity, and ultimately to improve the outcome, we become a part of that program, even though we're an independent organization. We become a part of that program because they constantly, consistently call back to us and say, we need this. I think our biggest challenge is we have to let them know all of the programming that we have available.
Yeah, and it's pretty extensive.
It's extensive.
You're
It's
absolutely
amazing.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one last question
Sure.
for you. You had mentioned earlier that you delivered training on leadership and a
Yes.
variety of leadership types of training, whether it was
Right.
creativity or some of the others. I'm going to put you on the spot here and give you 60 seconds to impart a critical element of your leadership training so that our viewers can get a quick snippet of something that they can actually use, but also to know that you can bring a whole day of that kind of information. So, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, go.
Leadership is all about, number one, making the right decisions. I talk about mission, vision, values, and goals. And I asked today, did people know the mission of their company? Only 2 people thought they knew what it was. Only 1 person could tell me what they thought it was. And what I said to them is, if you don't know the mission of the organization, how do you know when you're on track and off track? And how do you know when your boss is on track or off track? And when your boss is expecting this, and you're thinking this, how do you put those things together? What's the mission, vision, values, and goals of an organization? And that's what the bosses, the leadership, is thinking about. So making decisions about those things, setting up the mission, vision, values, and goals, communicating that to people. But not just communication verbally, but delegating. A lot of the problems that leaders have is they don't delegate enough. They don't make the decisions, maybe, but if they do make the decisions, they don't delegate those, or they want to micromanage. You cannot do that. You either don't trust your people, or you have to find people that you can trust. And so I think if you do those things in terms of leadership, you're a step ahead of 80% of the other companies, because now your people know where you're going and how you expect them to get there.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Dan, I know you've got a seminar to continue to do this afternoon on the other application. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day to share a few minutes with us and share this information with our clients. And
My pleasure.
Good luck out there and travel safely, okay?
Thanks. Appreciate it, Marty.
Great to see you.
Good to see you.